What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Captain Trucker. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing good this afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are. I want to continue this discussion about why I believe more Americans and Europeans in the future are going to be moving to the Philippines. I'm calling it the Great American Exodus. I coined that phrase. I don't know if I did, but I like to take credit for things, and even if it's not true, that's part of being on social media. So, you know, you start getting a lot of views, like some of these people then suddenly think they're like, you know, great researchers or politicians or like religious figures, and they're not. We're not, of course. We're just vloggers. All right, anyway, yeah, so there's about 200,000 Americans right now in and out of the Philippines, maybe some there long-term. It's just an estimate, so we don't know if they're tourists or expats or both. And this doesn't include all the European expats, okay? But, you know, as we know, the world's becoming like a smaller place. It's more interconnected, especially, you know, obviously in recent decades with technology. But more vlogs and more exposure. So, with the economy in America, you know, being $33+ trillion in debt, and the dollar inflation's pretty bad in the country right now. I'm thinking in the next 10 to 20 years, man, we could start seeing a big migration of more Americans going to the Philippines. But the question is like, what kind of effect is that going to have on their country and their culture, right? Because historically, you know, going back a long time, colonialization and all that good stuff, it's had interesting effects on these cultures. So technically now the Philippines is an independent country. It's no longer colonized. But there's arguments to say there's still neo-colonialism that exists, okay? So neo-colonialism is basically like unofficial colonialism. And it's sort of like an indirect control or like a strong influence that the West can still have on these countries without technically colonizing them. And we see that. We see a lot of that, you know, of course, with the influx of Americans and tourists, bringing all of our ideas, social media now influencing. And that's a whole other topic, man, like social media. So, you know, I got this theory, like there's almost possibly a new form of colonialism. I call it neo-social media colonialism. Because I'm curious what the effects of all these vlogging channels are going to have on these countries in the future. And I hope it's a good effect and not bad. The reason I say that is because there's like hundreds, possibly thousands of foreign vloggers that go to the Philippines, okay? The Filipinos consume social media like, you know, like we eat, or like air, like water. They watch a lot of it, like we do in America, but these two countries watch a lot of it. So a lot of people are going there to build their channels and stuff and so forth. And there's a whole range of popular vlogs versus less popular. There's different categories. You got like vacation vloggers that paint like, you know, a glamorous tourist perspective of the Philippines, like going to all the hot locations and you know, BGC and Makati and Manila, and going to the nice malls and restaurants. Then you can go to like, they'll go to like El Nido, check out the beaches, do some boat tours, go to Helicopter Island, do some snorkeling, go to Bohol, and they got those rolling chocolate hills or something they call it. But anyway, you get the point. And then you have like real life vloggers, which I would guess I would kind of put this channel in that category. It's more realistic with more, I guess, commentaries and opinions, and then you have a whole range of channels. And then some channels are just straight sleaze, really. Like there's not much substance to it in terms of like anything of higher, anything of average thought. It's just like a lot of clickbait and showing hot Filipinos and stuff like that, real casual, superficial type of stuff. So most people go to YouTube for entertainment usually, and then information. But anyway, my point is, I'm wondering too what kind of effect these vlogs are having on tourism. Because, I mean, obviously it's hard to gauge, it's hard to do studies on that. But, well, I think there may be some, actually. I'm going to work on trying to get those out. Because I think some people, you know, on the news or social media, different influencers, if you will, they may underestimate the effect that they can have on these countries, you know, just in different ways. So anyway, I'm curious what's going to happen in the future as more Americans and also Europeans and other people start going to this country, and how much influence we're going to continue to have, and if that's going to change the Philippines or have any negative effects on not just their culture but maybe economy. Because you know, tourism, international tourism in the Philippines is a small part of it. It's not a small part, it's I don't want to say a percentage, but I know for sure, I think it's less than 10% of their GDP. So it, you know, it's a big part of their deal, and obviously it helps. And my hope with the channel is in the future, and other sort of channels, I guess, anyway, other like channels like family vloggers and stuff, I'm hoping that they're going to attract more families there, maybe even younger expats who could work remotely and start going to these countries. Because I think traditionally younger expats have gone to more developed countries for work opportunities, but maybe that can change in the remote world we live in. But anyway, yeah, it's kind of interesting to see what's going to happen. It's just interesting. I guess it's one of the important reasons why, you know, we're respectful as tourists and as visitors, and we got to like check our entitlements. Because you know as us Americans are, is like we just think we can pretty much go anywhere in the world, say and do whatever we want. You know, complain about not being able to own land and houses. But I mean, seriously, think about it. If the Philippines allowed foreigners to own land, okay, and own real estate, I mean, you'd have Americans, Europeans, Chinese pretty much buying up their whole country, all right? They wouldn't even probably have a country left. So, you know, we shouldn't complain so much going to these types of countries, considering all the, how welcoming they are to us, how good they are, considering the history of a lot of things like colonialism, the US military leaving behind dozens of thousands of kids there with no money, with no citizenship, yet the Filipinos still welcome us Americans with open arms, okay? Now, the Ameri-Asian Act in the early 80s, they got totally screwed out of that deal, okay? Frankly, I think my theory is that there was just too many, and so the US didn't want to float the bill, okay? This is so kids could claim citizenship if they were abandoned by US military members and so forth. Maybe some of them didn't know, right? But anyway, a lot of other Asian countries got the benefit of that act except the Philippines. But my point is, despite all that, they still welcome Americans with smiles, okay? And everybody else. So I think we get a lot of privileges from this country that they give to us. And I think it's, I think they deserve respect from us tourists, from us vloggers. And I'm not trying to like tell people what to do or be judgmental, but I mean, I think it's appropriate that we are able to speak about these things. I mean, even like when you'll see this press about on vlogs about like age gap relationships, for instance, you know, pretty common topic on vlogs. But you see the way like some vloggers just put it out there, almost like they're tired of talking about it. So they'll just be like, hey, it's no longer an issue. Nobody cares about age. Age is just a number. Come out here, have a party, sleep with whoever you want. I mean, those kind of messages are definitely problematic, all right? Now, of course, age is just a number. Who's to say who's in love, right? Between two consenting legal adults. But there's a little more going on. It's a little more nuanced than just simply, you know, various people getting on vlogs and inviting foreigners to these countries, saying they can basically do what they want. You know, it's like, it's ridiculous, man. It's pretty unbelievable. It's one of the reasons I was kind of talking about stuff like that early on this channel. I'm kind of getting away from it because sometimes it can be negative, and I've spoken enough on it anyway, but it's a problem, you know. It is. It's a problem in public relations. And I'm just curious how stuff like that could possibly affect even more negative tourism in the future, okay? Because, you know, expats and tourists, there's a population of them. And obviously you can't put them all in the same category, okay? there's different types of people, different agendas, different goals, you know, and they don't all fall in these simple categories. So it's interesting, and I'm curious, you know, who else more is going to be going out there in the future, and what the effects that's going to have on the Philippines. So I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are on this. If you could please comment, I would appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts on how you think this will affect the Philippines in the future, both the good and the bad. It's definitely worth examining, okay? What do I got going on? Man, I got to get on the road, man. I got about 400 miles. I'm on a tight schedule, but I just got out of the gym and I wanted to make this video for you all. It's been like 8 days since I made a video, but I'm doing a lot of live streams lately. They've been a lot of fun, getting a lot of traction on those vertical live streams, man. Thank you all for participating in those. I do appreciate it. Who knows, maybe I'll be in the Philippines tomorrow, or maybe next week or next year. I'll kind of just go. I can be anywhere, anytime. So I'm trying to figure out where I'm gonna go. I gotta go somewhere. But anyway, yeah, back to that topic, man. Neo-social media, colonialism. I coined that phrase, by the way. I want to take credit for that one. Not that anybody cares, but yeah, good times. What is the effect we're going to have on these countries in the future? It's worth examining. How's inflation going to affect more Americans going out there? So there's a lot of questions, a lot of stuff to be analyzed, a lot of conversation to be had. Anyway, I'll let you guys go. Please subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. It's Captain Trucker. Hello. Be good out there, guys. All right, bye-bye.